Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to All Praise Picks. Today we're looking at the MLB. We got the Los Angeles Dodgers playing against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago on June 26th, 2024. So currently the Dodgers are 50 and 31, which is first place in the NL West, and the White Sox are 21 and 60, which is fifth place in the AL Central. And I believe the Dodgers have won the first two games of this series, and this will be the last game of the series before they continue their road trip onto the next series. But in this matchup, I'm also leaning towards the Dodgers to sweep the White Sox. The White Sox, like as I mentioned, only have 21 wins on the season, and the Dodgers have a lot more to play for in this game. And I also think that they have a better pitching matchup overall in this game. But I have a few parlays for you guys, all in BetMGM. As always, I'll break down the lines, give you my thoughts, and hopefully if you tap in, we can all win. So these are the first two parlays that I have at plus 120 and plus 130. Starting on the left side at plus 120, it's a four-leg parlay, and I have Gavin Stone, who's the starting pitcher for the Dodgers, to have more strikes than Eric Fede, who's the starting pitcher for the White Sox. On the season, Gavin Stone is 8-2 in his starts with a 3.04 ERA and a 3.65 expected ERA, and his WHIP is at 1.2. So pretty good numbers overall. Fede, in his own right, who's the starting pitcher for the White Sox, has pretty good numbers too. He's 5-2 in the start, which is very respectable considering that they only have 21 wins on the season. But he also has a 3.05 ERA and a 2.76 expected ERA and a 1.14 WHIP. But I'm still leaning towards Gavin Stone in this game to have more strikeouts just because of the discipline of the Dodgers batters, as well as how poorly the White Sox batters have been playing, especially against right-handed pitchers. Chicago has been one of the worst batting lineups in terms of strikeouts this year, especially against right-handed pitching. They're also last in batting average and OPS versus right-handed pitching this year. And they've been striking out at the 11th highest rate over the last 30 days and the 12th highest rate in the MLB over the last 14 days. On the other side of it, the Dodgers, they play very disciplined baseball, and I think they're definitely in the top 10 of lowest K rates overall versus right-handed pitchers, and I think just overall in the season as well, they are within the top 10 of lowest strikeout rates. So I'm leaning towards Gavin Stone in this game to get more strikes than Eric Fede. I think that I could see Stone getting like over 5 strikeouts in this game, and maybe Fede getting 3 to 4. And because of that, I took the Dodgers at plus 1.5 on the run line spread. I do think that they can win this game and maybe do it pretty handily, considering how good their batters are in comparison to the White Sox. But I took them at plus 1.5 as a safeguard against just any random possibilities that could happen in a baseball game, or the White Sox just playing a lot better than I initially expect. But I also think that the Dodgers in the first 5 innings should cover a 2.5 run line spread, essentially for them not to lose the first 5 innings by more than 3 runs. And I also think that the White Sox will score under 7 runs in this game. As I mentioned before, they have been struggling lately to hit the ball, considering that they're last in batting average and OPS versus right-handed pitching. But also, I just think that the Dodgers defensively are a really good team that don't commit many errors, and I think it would take a lot for the White Sox to score over 7 runs, especially considering that they didn't score over I don't think they scored over 2 runs in the last game and over 3 runs in the game before this. And taking a look at the parlay on the right side at plus 130, the first 3 lines are all the same. I just have the total number of runs in this game to go under 15. As I mentioned, I lean towards the Dodgers to be able to score runs in this game, but I do think this could be a very low-scoring game, considering that Eric Fede, the starting pitcher for the White Sox, has a 2.76 expected ERA, which is honestly phenomenal, and his 3.05 ERA overall is pretty good in comparisons to the league averages. So I think that both Stone and Fede have pretty low ERAs, and because the White Sox struggle to hit the ball, I do lean towards this game going under 15 runs. But at plus 120 and plus 130 for these parlays, if you invest 1 unit, you'll have 120 or 130% return on your investment. But I just included these 2 parlays as a chance for you guys to take either or if you prefer to go under with the White Sox runs or just under in the total game. But as always, just have bankroll management and and overall just financial consciousness of how much you're putting into these bets when deciding to play. So this is the next parlay that I have at plus 150. So I have Gavin Stone's total earned runs to go under 2.5, essentially for him not to have more than 3 earned runs in the innings that he pitches overall. As I mentioned, he has a 3.04 ERA, and his expected ERA is at 3.65, so he could be due for some negative regression in terms of having a higher ERA, which is not good in terms of pitching. But I just think that this matchup really does favor him, considering that the White Sox don't really hit the ball very well and haven't been hitting the ball very well against right-handed pitching. And because of that, I also took Gavin Stone to have fewer hits overall than Eric Fede. I believe Shohei Ohtani is on a 9-game RBI streak, and if he gets a hit and a run from that, he'll be on a 10-game RBI streak, which I believe is a MLB record, or at least a Dodgers record for sure. So he should be looking for that, and I think that overall the Dodgers batters should be playing much better in this game than they did in the last one. Even though they did win that game pretty handily, I think that they'll play even better in this one. And I mentioned the last two lines for the Dodgers to have over 2 runs in the game and for the total to go under 14. Or at least I alluded to them in the last 2 parlays, but I do think the Dodgers will be able to score in this game. As I mentioned, Ohtani is looking for that double-digit RBI record, and if he gets it, that'll be at least 1 run scored. And I just think that overall the game will go under 14 runs, just because of the advantage that the pitchers have in this game over the White Sox especially. But at plus 150, if you bet 1 unit, that's 150% return on your investment. And as always, I would just advise you guys to have bankroll consciousness and an overall just understanding of how much you're putting into each parlay. Because even though this would have a 1.5x return, it's just important to understand how much you're putting in before deciding to bet. So this is the next parlay that I have at plus 210. The first 2 lines, I believe I mentioned before, for the Dodgers in the first 5 innings to cover a 2.5 run line spread, essentially for them not to lose the first 5 innings by more than 3 runs, and for them to cover a 1.5 run line spread for the full game, essentially for them not to lose the game by more than 2 runs. But I also included Gavin Stone's strikeouts over 5.5, so essentially for him to have more than 6 strikeouts in this game. And I changed that from him having more strikeouts than Eric Fede, just in case that they have, say if they both have 7 strikeouts in the game, he wouldn't have more strikeouts technically because they tied, but I do think that he has a good chance of having over 6 strikeouts in this game because of how well pitchers have been against the Chicago White Sox batters in their recent history. As I mentioned, the White Sox are one of the worst batting lineups in terms of number of strikeouts this season, and they are last in batting average and last in OPS versus right-handing pitching. So I think that as long as Gavin Stone has a great game, or not even a great game, but really just a good game overall and pitches more than 5 innings, he should be able to get more than 1 strikeout per inning. I also think that the game will go under 15 runs for this parlay, and at plus 210, if you invest 1 unit on this parlay, you'll have a 210% return on your investment, which is technically more than 3x as long as the bet hits, because you'll have your winnings back as well. But I would just advise you guys to have financial consciousness and bankroll management when deciding to place these bets, if you do decide to place it with me. And this is the last parlay that I have at plus 475. So it's more so just an accumulation of what I think would happen in the game. As I mentioned before, I have the total going under 14 runs and Gavin Stone to have more strikeouts than Eric Fede, as well as for him to have under 3 earned runs in his innings pitched. But I also have the Dodgers to have a plus 1.5 run line spread. But the main premise of this parlay is for Teoscar Hernandez, who is a pretty good hitter for the Dodgers, to have a hit and at least 2 bases accumulated in this game from his hits. He just has a really great matchup versus Fede. In his history versus Fede, he's had 4 at-bats and has a 0.75 batting average, 2 home runs, and 3 RBIs in 4 at-bats. Also, on the season versus right-handed pitching, he has a 0.73 OPS and a 0.2 .247 batting average. So his numbers are a little bit down compared to his numbers versus Fede, but maybe there's just something about the Fede matchup that really gets him going. So I think that he could have a really good game here, as well as Shohei Ohtani. I didn't bet on Shohei Ohtani just because I could see the White Sox just intentionally walking him or preventing him from really getting a hit in order to prevent him from getting the streak. That would be kind of petty on their part, but we'll see what happens. I think either way, the Dodgers have a good chance of winning this game, and it could come on the back of Shohei Ohtani, or it could come on the back of the other great Dodgers players like Teoscar Hernandez or Freddie Freeman. But at plus 475, if you put 1 unit on this parlay, you'll have a 475% return on your investment, including the or not including the amount you put into the parlay, but as long as the parlay hits, then you'll win a great deal of money. But as always, I would just advise you guys to have financial consciousness and an overall understanding of your bankroll when deciding to place these bets. But that's all the parlays I have for you guys. Appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more MLB and WNBA videos coming out later this week. And until then, peace out.